Hello everyone, this is Christian Interactive, and in this video the main focus is adding the ability to add the different models to our store. So we'll be able to add securities and categories. So for instance, we can add a new security here, pick stuff, and it gets added here. Of course it gets uppercase the symbol as we want, and adding even will modify it so that we'll do the sorting when we update, not just add. So we'll be able to add the categories, markets, types, and all that. Like I said, all in this video. Alright, before we get started here, I'd like to say thank you for watching the video and for subscribing. And if you're not a subscriber, if you find the video helpful in any way, I hope that you'll please consider subscribing. And with that said, let's go ahead and get started here. So as all things related to the store, or adding to the store, mutating the store usually start, we're going to start by adding in some additional constants to our store constants file. So we need actions to add security types to it. So let's come in here. So we'll have constants for add security, category, market, segments, so on. And as I've said before, an action isn't very useful without a mutation. So we'll come down here and add in a corresponding mutation constant for each of the actions that we just created. Let's go ahead and save that. We're good with the store constants file. Next up is our types. So in our previous video, we've added types to indicate what the payload type should be for adding or updating a security. We of course need same sort of deal for adding, and of course they're exactly the same really. So it could be overkill, who knows. We have a payload then for adding a security, which is just a security model, adding a market, security market model. Alright, so now we have all of those done. We can close that file as well. Now we do have this functions file inside of our state folder here. We're using it to find all of the items or find by ID. We have an undefined message function. We're going to add a couple other functions to it. First up here, we'll say export function. This one's going to be our sort function, so it'll be a sorting of type T. We'll have items, T array, and we're going to pass in a function which is going to take in an item of type T and give us back a string, so that we can say that the oops, what am I doing here? So we'll return items dot sort. So we'll have an A and a B. Inside of there, a string is just use the function was passed in on A, and then we'll just to uppercase it. Const B string, func on B, to uppercase on it as well. So now we can say if A string is less than B string, we can return -1. If a string greater than B string, return a 1, and otherwise return 0. Put my semicolon there. So now we have a method for sorting. And let's go up here, top here, and export another function called add. So add is a generic with a T. Extends the state item that we created, interface we created previously. We'll pass in a state, which is an state of T. Pass in the item, type T, and the func that we were just messing with takes the item, turns it into a string. So with that, we can first off maybe some error handling. So if the item is undefined, just throw new error cannot add undefined item to the store. And might as well while we're at it. So if the item's equal to null, new error, cannot add null item to the store. Perfect. With that done, we can say item.id. It's going to be the state.index, state.items. Going to be, we're going to sort them. We'll sort, do the spread on the, we really don't need to create a new one, right? We're going to create, or we're creating a new one from the sort. So let's just say that this is just going to be state.items.push our item. Oops, and that gives us the items. We need to add in our func and hopefully get rid of, oh no. That's why you try to do things on the fly, right? So we need to actually pass in an array, and push is not returning an array to us. Silly me. Let's just do the spread operator on the items, add in the item, call it a day. And we do need to say state.index, oops, not equal, plus equal 1. All right, so we're good there. Let's save that. And one thing you'll note here is that we are setting the ID. And the one thing that I have forgotten so far, we updated security category and the security itself to allow that. But security descriptors still just have a getter for their ID. So let's go in here, public set ID. ID is a number. And then this .id equals ID. We still get an error because lastly we need to get rid of our read-only. Save that. So our security descriptor is good to go. Now to the heart of everything, the security module itself. First up, some importing. So we'll import the constants for adding that we just created previously, constants for mutations, and the payloads for everything. So all the add payloads. Okay. So now before we get down to the nitty-gritty, we're going to create a couple more, or a few more functions here. First off, in the updating security action here, we have this get the category, get the market, set the category, set market, right? And we're going to need to do this same procedure for when we add a security. Same with the security categories. We have this procedure here. So let's create some functions to make it easier to do and have it all in one place. So first up, so we'll have a function which I just called hydrate security. Security spelled correctly. So we'll pass in the store state store, which is the store store state. We'll pass in a payload. The payload is either adding a security or updating a security. So with that, what we'll do is just steal all of that, put it up here, and now this is just store, right? So in our action down here, we can just say hydrate security payload. And if you do it right, you put in this first and then the payload. So now we can have that all in one place, and we're going to do the same deal. Function hydrate security category. Same thing, we'll pass in the store, which is the store of store state. In this case, the payload is either a payload add security category or a payload update security category. Save that. Run down and steal this. I guess while we're here, we can do hydrate security, this payload. And we'll put the contents in there and store. All right, so now we're able to hydrate it all in one place. Now we're going to add in a couple more functions here. So if we notice, and not the getters, but in the mutations down here, there's a couple of them. The security, I'm uppercasing to uppercase the symbol, and we're also doing the same thing in the market for the text, so the text is all uppercase. What I want to do is, of course, make sure that that's correct, no matter whether we're adding or updating. So we'll come up here, and we're going to create a new function here. So function format, and security. We're going to pass in the payload to this, which is the same payload add security or payload update security. And inside of there, all we have to do is payload.symbol equals payload.symbol.toUppercase. What I'm going to do is do this formatting in the actions. So once we've hydrated the thing, we're going to come down here and format a security. Perfect. And while we're at it, we're going to create the format for function format security. I like that I. Security market. And security market and the update one. Payload.text. Perfect. So let's format our market and payload. So now it'll be uppercased in the action even before it gets to the mutation. And if we notice, sometimes, actually we only have a couple, I think. Yeah, so like the type, right now I have one that's 2 words. I think segments do. Yeah, segments are all 2 words. And what I want is to have the first letter capitalized. And of course, the formatting that we're doing here, in the end, we'd probably want some more formatting going on. What I'm going to do is copy, so we'll have a function format security descriptor, and the payload is basically all of the rest of the everything else, all the other models that we haven't already created a format for, except for the category. It's just made up of the other things. So what we want is sort of a title case, I guess. So let's say payload.text. That's going to be payload.text dot lowercase, just lowercase. We'll lowercase everything. And then we will, I guess, split. So it could be multiple words, so we'll split on the space. We use the map. So now we have strings coming in. What we'll do is template and x.character at. We want that first character, and we will to uppercase it. And then we want the rest of the string, so we'll slice 1. And then the last thing we have to do is join everything with a space. So now we can use that format descriptor for, like I said, everything else except for the category and the others that we've already done. So So now let me grab that, get those two. So now everything has been formatted. Now a little bookkeeping type of thing here. I think I realized in the last video that by adding the store action tree here, it already knows what this is. So we actually do not need to type this, and we do not need to type the commit. It knows. The only thing we need to type for is the payload. I will go back and in a moment here we'll just we'll be able to copy and paste stuff in, but just so you see what we'll end up with, a little bit nicer, right? But the purpose that we're here for at the moment is to add in some add actions, right? So let's create an action here. This action is adding a security, payload add security. So what we need now is to hydrate the security as we did before. Payload, format the security, and then commit. And we use mutation add security and the payload. So we've now done everything that we need to do. It's basically the same for updating and adding, just different mutation. And let's do it again just to see. Action, add security category, payload, add security category. And here we need the hydrate the category. Always forgetting the this first. Nothing to format, so we can just commit in this mutation, adding that and the payload. Perfect. So we are able to add the security and everything there. Oops, need to update some notes there. So as we'll see, let's do the right one. Add and action. We'll add the market now. So payload, market, add market. And in here we have our format of the market. Payload, commit, and payload. So the rest of them are basically the same, right? US action, action, add the segment, and format descriptor, payload, and commit, mutation. Which one are we doing? The segment. So I can kind of, I guess only had two more to go. We can kind of copy and paste in here. My notes need to be updated. I forgot to finish the rest of it, right? So we need to format the payload, right? So that's all done. What I'm going to do is copy in the rest of these actions here, which is just to remove all of the unneeded typing, right? And of course, that still needs to be updated too. Update segment and territory. Oh, that one got a payload, and why are you upset about this? So adding a security territory and a type. Territory and a type. Oh, did I forget a segment? Nope. Add segment. Update segment. Why are you mad? Oh. Okay. Where'd my this come from? Copy and paste the wrong thing. Okay. So now that's all updated. Getter is sort of a little bit about the same thing. We don't need the type for the store. it already knows. Been trying to figure out, haven't yet figured out how to get the store itself to know the type for the getters, because right now when you get them they come in as any, so I still need the types on there. But it's no fun just watching deleting of those types, so what I'll do is just copy and paste all of the getters. Beautiful. A little bit of cleanup here. What I could have done, should have done maybe, is put my exclamation point in, so in the security mutations, find by ID could return undefined. We're throwing down here if it is undefined. So what I'm going to do is just say that it's not undefined up there and get rid of my exclamation points just because it looks a little bit neater. This of course just becomes symbol now because we're taking care of the two uppercase in the action, and again we can get rid of the states types for the states. We'll do the same thing for those there. So let me just come in here and copy and paste a little bit of update action going on. Perfect. Oh, except that I forgot in the end that we needed to import in our functions. We're going to use here in a second the add and sort. What I did in the mutation down here is I am setting the items using the sort. So right now we just have the mutations for updating. So it's possible, of course, that you updated the symbol. And if you did that, I want to sort this. So we'll just sort the items and be done with it there. Easy things to add, of course, are the adding mutations. So let's add a mutation here for mutation of adding a security. Payload add security. All we have to do is say state and then which one we're talking about, and that's the securities, the payload, and the function that we want to sort by, and we sort by the symbol. So it's just the same deal over and over again. So adding a category, payload is a category, category states, sort by text. All the rest of them are actually sort by text as well. So we have the markets, segments, territory. So let's go ahead and save that. So the module's all taken care of. What we're able to do now, hopefully everything's going to work fine, is go into the security details page, do some importing again. So we'll import those constants for the actions, and we'll import the payloads for adding. That means we can come down here and specify just as before the action. So we have the action decorator, the constant that tells us which action we're talking about. Of course, we give it a name and then tell it that it's an action function. So it's a function that needs a payload of a specific type. So we have all of them for adding now. So add security, names add security is an action function of type payload add security, and we have the corresponding ones for everything else. So now we can come down to our save methods down here, or save method. We can say this dot add, and we're in the category, so add a category. And we just do the same thing in our K0 for all of them. So this dot add, and I'm in a market, so market. Again, K0, this dot add security, segment, this dot add segment, and the last two, so K0, this dot add territory, the territory. Last but not least, this dot add type, of type. Save that. Refresh just to be sure. So let's see, first of all, let's go into the security we've already had. We changed some, it's going to do some sorting now, so we'll throw a lowercase z on the front. It does in fact get uppercased, and of course it's sorted correctly. So we can save that. Perfect. So if we create one, give it a market, something, save it, and it's getting saved there. Everything's good. Just to check out some of the descriptors, give it multiple, check out the type. Whoopsie-daisy, made a mistake there. It's nice, right? Created some craziness there. So, made a mistake. Where did we put that? In the module. Must be in my mapping somewhere. Where are you at? Right here. Assuming it's in the mapping. What did I do wrong? Two lowercase split. We mapped. Character add two. Oh, it's a function. It's a function, idiot. Put in the. Come on. Put in my parentheses. All right, back to the types. Try that again. Types, and now we have everything. Seems to be working correctly. And they're getting sorted. So in this video we basically have added in the ability to add all of the different models from the descriptors, territories, markets, all those, to we can add in, oops, new category, and I don't know where that would go. I guess it should look crazy, right? Right there. So we're adding in, we can add categories, securities, like I said, the types and territories. Everything is getting sorted. It gets sorted even if we just do an update, not just adding. And I think from here maybe we'll go on to actually going back to doing with the accounts so that we can get some useful information from the app. But you know, we'll have to wait and see for the next video. Until then, I will talk to you later. Thank you for taking the time to watch our video. I know that your time is valuable. If you liked the video, please subscribe to our channel and click the thumbs up button, as well as share the video with your friends. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please leave them in the comments section below. And once again, thank you, and I will talk to you in the next video.